video, I'm going to be reviewing The 27-Hour Day, which premiered on Hallmark this past weekend. 27-Hour Day stars Autumn Ressler, who plays Laura, and Andrew Walker, who plays Jack. The movie was filmed in Canada, and as usual, in Hallmark style, it's a beautiful setting. So, here we go. Laura is a high-powered executive, and she runs her own business called The 27-Hour Day. She runs a blog, and it's basically like a lifestyle brand where you do hacks and then shortcuts, how to make your day more productive and make the most out of your day. Jack runs a wellness camp that was founded by his family, and he kind of took over after his dad had passed away. Okay, so here's a synopsis of the movie. Here I have my cheat sheet of everything we're going to review today, so we're going to start with the synopsis. So, Laura is pining for a role to be part of a speaking group for this woman who does self-help books. Her name is Barbara, and she does some type of speaking tour where people come and basically share their brand and what they can contribute to the tour. So she is definitely an all work, no play kind of woman. Again, the 27-hour day, she's always constantly going. She has a meeting with Barbara and basically just kind of sells herself as to why she would be a good addition to the tour. And Barbara pretty quickly sums up that this woman is overdoing it, and she's kind of like, well, you know what? It's wonderful that you work so hard, but you're the type to burn out, which was, you know, Laura didn't take to that too well, but Barbara was just like, I would think kind of saw her as, kind of a tricky investment, because anyone who works that hard is liable to burn out soon. Of course, Laura is disappointed on that. She goes home and she actually talks to her assistant and then goes home and talks to her mom. And you can see that while she is struggling to become more successful, she's also just pining for time with her mom and a bit of a quiet life, but it's clear that she doesn't know how to attain it. So her assistant actually comes up with the idea to go on a retreat. Laura's idea is to simply just take a weekend. First she says, I'll take an hour, and then she's like, well, I'll take half an hour. And then her assistant's like, you need to actually take some time off, like put some weight into what was told and see what becomes of it. So Laura agrees. Her assistant sends her the information for the wellness ranch, and Laura's up for the challenge, and she goes ahead and does it. Flip side, Jack. Jack, who at one time was set to be a veterinarian, had actually left veterinary school, even though he was successful doing that, to run the ranch for his family. So the family is a beautiful ground, but they're also working on extending the ranch and making it much bigger. His mom and his sister also run the ranch, and they run it together, and it's a lovely situation with the family in a small town. But Jack has kind of taken over that role for the family as head. So Laura gets to the ranch, and she immediately cannot shut her mind off. Even, you know, and I know it's in the preview where he says, like, she says, well, what can I do? I can't do this, I can't do that. And he's just like, breathe, which is so true. Even when she's relaxing, she's thinking of something she can do. While she's doing task A, she's multitasking doing task B. While she's getting her teeth clean, she's also learning Italian on a podcast or on a, like, you know, Audible type of thing. While she's meditating, she's also like drying her toenails, which I don't think is what she said in the movie, but you get the idea. She just never shuts off. And then Jack quickly assesses her like, this woman is just kind of like wound tight and she needs to take it easy. So he's actually kind of like eyeing her like a little bit during this day and just almost like giving her like prompts like, slow down, listen, it's not a competition, just take it in, just take it easy. And then meanwhile, she is kind of noticing that he's struggling with like day-to-day things on the ranch, and she offers him hack ideas because that's her expertise, is how to do things in less time in an easier way. So in a way, they're kind of helping each other out while they're having these interactions, but pretty quickly they form a bit of a bond and they get along and they just start spending more and more time together. Okay, so let me go down my list here. So that's the synopsis of the movie. I'm going to give you a cameo role. So from Signed, Sealed, Delivered. If you love Signed, Sealed, Delivered, you will see our good friend who was shown, and he plays the spouse of one of the other characters. Let me just get his name. Oh, it's Gunderson. I wrote it down because it's Jeff Gunderson? Jeff Gustafson. I'm probably misspelling that. But he's in Saddles to Deliver, so it was definitely a nice cameo to see in this movie. And I always love when Hallmark stars jump into other movies because it's just fun to see. Okay, next, spoilers. So I don't want to give too much away in case you haven't seen the movie yet. But Barbara is actually very close to somebody who is going to be influential in Laura's life. Coincidentally, you never know who knows each other because it's a very small world. But it's definitely a plot twist when it comes up later in the movie that she actually really knows somebody very well. Okay, so next, how many crowns? Out of 5 crowns, I'm going to give this a whole, you know what? I want to say 4.5, but I'm going to go ahead and give it 5 crowns. It's a really good movie. It's actually, I had to see it twice. The first time I saw it, I was kind of like, I started watching it, I got up, I fed the dog, I did the things, and then I sat and I really watched it again. It is a very good movie. I very much enjoyed it. The scenery is nice, the acting is nice, the plot is nice, and the story is relatable. I think a lot of us women particularly can relate to just always being on and not being able to shut off like your inner clock or your inner thoughts. And I'm that kind of woman who's constantly multitasking. I mean, I do YouTube for like fun, and YouTube is work in itself. So if that gives you an idea, like during my free time, I actually do a little more like work. So very relatable. Her character is very relatable. She just wants to be her best in every aspect of her life, and it's just gotten out of hand. But ultimately, she wants to be with her mom. She wants to be in love. She wants to have a more fulfilling life, and she just doesn't know how to go about it because she's so caught up in this cycle of work, work, work. So it was definitely a relatable movie, which is why I would definitely give it 5 crowns. In hindsight, 5 crowns. Okay, so the best scene in the movie. This is a little snip of a piece of a movie, but there's a piece, so it's kind of hinted in the beginning of the movie that the oven doesn't work well. Later in the movie, it turns out they're cooking as a group and they burn something, and the reaction is actually very comical. I was surprised at how comical it is. I almost forgot I was watching a Hallmark movie. So that was definitely a good highlight in the movie. It's a funny scene, it was enjoyable, and it was a little something different from Hallmark. Okay, so last on my list is highlights. So the things I want to highlight about the movie, number 1, Laura realizes pretty quickly that she has feelings for Jack. Jack takes a while to come around. I think it's a highlight because it does speak to Laura's character. She is the kind of person who has herself together, and in every sense of the word, she's able to recognize good and bad when she sees it, black and white, night and day. So she's like, I like this man. I'm falling for him. She writes in her journal, she gets it, and it's refreshing to see. Sometimes in the Hallmark movies, there's a lot of like, I don't know, do I like him, do I don't? No. Laura's personality is very type A, and she's just decided, I like him, and that's it. I'm falling for this guy. Another highlight would be really early in the beginning of the movie, and if you're not paying attention, you would catch it. But I've never wanted a teal blazer more than after watching this movie. Laura's opening scene, she has a teal blazer. Barbara has a teal blazer on the cover of the book, and I'm like, I didn't know when I needed a teal blazer in my life, but it needs to be now, and I immediately was on that Amazon trying to find a teal blazer. I mean, sold. You never knew you needed one in your life until you see the 27-hour day. And then the last highlight of the movie is the ending. It's a very pretty closing scene. I'm not going to give it away, but it does kind of like give a throwback to an old classic romance. Just closes up very nicely, very beautifully, very scenic, and it was just a nice way of putting like a bow topping at the end of a nice gift of a movie. Alright guys, so that was my review of the 27-hour day. It is on Hallmark. If you have the Friendly app, you can still watch that movie. You can watch it on the on-demand playback on the Friendly app. If you don't have the Friendly app, I did do a review on it here on my channel. It's only $8 a month. You get all 3 Hallmark channels, and it is a really nice option. You could also record if you're someone like me who's also like doing the 27-hour day and just needs to watch movies on her own time and not when you're necessarily playing. And of course, if you've also cut the cable cord. All right, so thank you for watching. Please remember to like, please remember to subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye now.